aka MrBoxIt.com, aka Mr. Holla at your motherfucking boy. Alright, so I'm talking about Showtime Shawn Porter versus Adrian Granados. That was a really good fight, you know what I mean? Showtime Shawn Porter came out and did what Showtime Shawn Porter does, you know what I mean? The ramming, the headbutting, the elbowing, the the football tactics, you know what I mean? I think he actually tackled Adrian Granados in the actual fight. Like, he tackled the shit out of him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like a clean tackle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some good shit. But yes, it was a real entertaining back and forth fight between Adrian Granados and Showtime Shawn Porter. And good night for boxing, man. Good night for boxing. Adrian Granados showed the heart of a warrior, the heart of a champion. He was in there. He was fighting. He was, you know what I mean? He was taking the punishment. He was trying to fight back, but he just didn't have the tools to be able to fight someone like a Shawn Porter. I said this before, and I'll say it again. In order to beat somebody like a Shawn Porter, there's only really a few ways you can go about doing it. Okay, the first way would be to try to outbox him with your footwork. You know what I mean? Try to fight him from the outside, stop him from closing the distance. Time him coming in. You know what I mean? And then maybe hold him on the inside, similar to how Kell Brook beat him. The second way would be to just land the cleaner and effective shots on the inside. Like, so when you're on the inside of him, similar to what Keith Thurman was doing, when you're fighting on the inside with him, if you're landing the harder, cleaner shots on the inside, because he likes to get on the inside and get busy. If you're able to do that and outpunch him and outwork him, which few can do, but Keith Thurman actually did, then you can beat him like that. But if you're not doing any of those things, then it's going to be very hard to beat someone like a Shawn Porter. And for Adrian Granados, he doesn't have the footwork, which is a key part of being able to outbox him from the inside. And he doesn't have the work rate, which is a key fundamental in order to beat someone like a Shawn Porter. Adrian Granados, don't get me wrong, he was trying in there. He was trying to throw punches on the inside, but the thing is, I noticed that he's not used to throwing short shots. Okay, he's used to throwing long shots, and it's a natural. I'm sure that's how he was trained to fight, because he's a pretty tall guy for 140 or 147. So I'm sure he's used to getting full extension on a lot of his shots, and he's not used to throwing short shots. So for him to fight on the inside is kind of like it's kind of like a handicap for him. So every time Shawn Porter would close the distance on him, which would be very often, because Shawn Porter had the advantage when it came to the footwork, and they would get into an exchange on the inside, Shawn Porter would be the person landing those clean, hard shots, and Adrian Granados would end up kind of throwing these little pity pat shots that were kind of, some of them were landing, but they didn't really look like they were landing pretty clean. Like, they were kind of like grazing Shawn Porter's face, and he was just kind of he was kind of flurrying, you know what I mean? Like, he was kind of shoe shining, call that a shoe shine, in boxing. And it didn't really, and it was very obvious that it was a shoe shine. It didn't look effective, you know what I mean? So, and he did that few and far between, by the way, because a lot of what was going on those ropes was him getting just kind of pounded into the ropes, you know what I mean? And, and that sort of thing. So, that's pretty much how the fight went. That was pretty much the story of the fight. Shawn Porter kind of dominating by closing the distance and cornering Granados. Granados trying to fight from the ropes, but not really having the ability to do so. And Shawn Porter just doing what Shawn Porter does best. Now, later on in the fight, it was pretty apparent that Shawn Porter had kind of hurt himself. I believe he hurt his hand or something like that. And it was pretty apparent because he had let off the gas real bad in the 11th and the 12th round. I guess his hand had kind of reached its limit. And you got to think that it had to be something wrong, because that's just totally uncharacteristic of Shawn Porter. Like, if it was Adrian Broner and he had let off the gas, then, you could just say, all right, that's just Adrian Broner. But for Shawn Porter, he's one of those guys. He's going to fight from round 1 to round 12. And it's going to be a non-stop, action-packed slugfest for Shawn Porter. So, So it was, I guess it was that kind of deal. It was a good win for Shawn Porter. They had it a lot wider on the scorecards than I probably would have liked. I think they had it 117, 111. I think it was a little closer than that. I think Granados deserved a little more credit than 117, 111. Nonetheless, it was still a very clear victory for Shawn Porter, and he moves on to bigger and better things. Now, I hope Shawn Porter is not out of the ring too long, with this broken hand. I hope it's not a broken. I hope it's like a sprain or some shit. And after maybe like 2-3 weeks, he's back, working, because, I really liked the Shawn Porter that I saw tonight. He was doing some little things in there that were really, 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 really good. Like, I saw Shawn Porter getting under shots a lot, slipping and moving and giving angles and doing little things. Now, mind you, it was a rough version of it, but it was still really nice to watch. He wasn't getting hit as much as you're used to seeing Shawn Porter get hit. So, I'm very interested to see this man back in the ring, as soon as possible. And I look forward to the next fight. And he's right there in the mix with Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, and all the other top welterweights. So I'm very curious to see who he fights next. Errol Spence has been very clear about challenging Shawn Porter. So I'm very interested to see how he responds to that. Does he go after that IBF belt? Or does he just wait for the Keith Thurman opportunity? Which I think that he'll get the Keith Thurman opportunity before Errol Spence. I think maybe there's some sort of unspoken arrangement between them. Maybe that they want to meet each other back in the ring before, anything else goes on in the division or whatever. I think that the Thurman Porter fight, Thurman Porter 2 will happen before Porter Spence. I'm pretty sure. I think after Keith Thurman gets his warm up fight, and I think he said this in some video. I think that after he gets his little warm up fight, because I think Keith Thurman will be back maybe in February. So I think after he gets that fight, I think the next fight will probably be either Shawn Porter or Danny Garcia. I think so. I think he's gonna give up one of those rematches, and after that, then maybe he'll move on to Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, but for Shawn Porter, if he's not fighting Keith Thurman next, then his options should be either Danny Garcia or Errol Spence Jr. Of course, I'm sure he would prefer to fight someone like a Danny Garcia, because let's just face it, Danny Garcia's style is just tailor-made for someone like a Shawn Porter. He's gonna get outworked, but it's also vice versa too, because Danny Garcia is, he throws really, really hard counter shots, counter hooks, and he could catch Shawn Porter coming in. He can catch Shawn Porter doing little things. But if he doesn't catch Shawn Porter, and Shawn Porter has a really good chin, if he doesn't catch him clean and knock him out, then it's going to be very, 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 very difficult for Danny Garcia to win in a fight versus Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter, just like I said, there's only a few ways to handle that kind of style. And if you don't possess the skill set to be able to do that, then it's going to be very difficult for you to win against Shawn Porter, in a 12-round fight, unless you knock him the fuck out. Well, that negates everything. But in a 12-round fight with someone with that work rate, you really kind of have to be locked into a particular style. All right, so, but all in all, I'm getting all off topic. All in all, this was a really good fight. Adrian Granados put on a hell of a show. He's a little delusional talking about, he won the fight. He couldn't have possibly thought he won the fight, but it was still a really good effort by Adrian Granados. I want to see what he does next too. A lot of guys at welterweight that he could fight. Maybe he could go on and take on Andre Berto or one of those other guys at 147. That would be pretty good. This guy has a lot of heart. Victor Ortiz, one of those guys at 147. But yeah, like I said, good performance for both fighters. Shawn Porter versus Adrian Granados. Loved every moment of it. Let me know what you guys think. Hit it up in the comment section below. You can also hit me up on Twitter, box capital X or capital X dot. You can also hit me up on Facebook, box -sign or -sign dot. Like the video, subscribe, all that bullshit. But until next time, it's your buddy Dynamite signing out. Holla at your motherfucking boy.